Hello everyone, that manga kid here to do my first update for Lohali's 30 for 30 manga tag slash challenge for April. And it's basically read 30 volumes of manga in 30 days. I don't know if it's specifically like you have to read one per day or if it's just kind of like do your best to do that. I'm not really sure, but I read more than 7 volumes for this week, but I think I'm just going to do a weekly update of what I read during the week. Um, and yeah, so I'll just get right into it. I started off with Passionate Theory, and this is by Ayumi Kano. This is a out of print, I believe, June title, Boys Love. It's not a yaoi, it's a shonen ai. I think it was from printed in English in 2007, I believe. This was okay. It wasn't great. I was left feeling like, why was it written? The art is nothing to write home about. The story was mediocre and barely there at all, honestly. The characters were not anything. They just kind of felt like empty shells of people. I think the whole premise of the story is this kid is going to be studying abroad soon. This is a kid who is in love with him, I guess, and I don't really understand what the point of the story is, honestly. This is the cousin of this guy, and it's kind of like, it's not a love triangle, but there's jealousy because of how close the cousin is with him, but then also at some points with him. So that's just jealousy, but it's not like a romantic kind of jealousy. I don't get it. Math is somehow involved, hence like Passionate Theory. I don't understand the point of this story, and I was left feeling like I wasted my time. And I was left feeling like the author wasted their time. I don't know if that's mean to say, but I don't understand who this story was for and why it was written. It's not exciting. It's not interesting at all. The art, like I said, is not fantastic. It's not even a yaoi, so you can't use the excuse that it's porn, because it's not. There's no sexual themes in this at all. So I don't understand why it was written. I don't understand why it was translated and printed here. I'm not sure. But I didn't like it. It wasn't great. Next, I read the 9th omnibus of I Am a Hero. This was good as always. This series is finishing up soon. They're 2-in-1s. But yeah, I think this series has 11 omnibuses because it's 22 volumes, if I remember correctly, in Japan. So it should be done soon. First volume in this omnibus didn't follow our main character. It was following another group of people, and then the second volume did follow our main character. I'm just interested to see where this is going. This has taken a different route than most zombie manga has, or zombie stories in general has. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Next, I read another, like, 2007 yaoi title called From Up Above, and this is by Sakuya Kurekoshi. This one I was expecting to like the least out of the 4 yaoi titles that I bought at Goodwill, which you'll see the other 2 in a minute here, because I don't really like fantasy stuff, and this is basically about this guy here who is the reincarnation of this priestess from like thousands of years ago or something, and this guy is some kind of little lightning demon guy who was sealed by that priestess and has recently been freed, and now he wants to he's been searching for her, this guy, so that she can free him from like the rest of the curse or whatever it is that the priestess had put on him. It was fun. It was so much fun. I was not expecting to like it, honestly. But the art is really cute and funny. I think the characters, I love the eyes. The faces are really well done. There's good comedy. Yeah, I found it hilarious. I was laughing while I was reading it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a volume number on it, so I assumed it was a one shot, which I think technically it is because I don't think it was ever completed in English or in Japanese. From what I can find after doing some quick research, it doesn't look like it was ever completed. Because at the end, the author's note says, like, see you in the next volume. But as far as I can tell, there is no other volume, even in Japanese. So I may be wrong, but I couldn't find anything about it. So unfortunately, the story is unfinished. But I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably read this again someday because it was lots of fun. I had a good time reading that. Next is Invisible Love, and this is by Rie Honjo. And this is the third that yaoi title that I bought from Goodwill the other day, and this one is a yaoi title. It is explicit, and this is basically a bunch of short stories, all ending up in a sexual encounter, but they were all really well done. I enjoyed every single story. The characters were and they were quite short too. Like, they were not long stories at all. It wasn't like 4 short stories with a good chunk of the volume for each story. They're very short snippets of these characters' lives, and they're all different. I don't think this one had any connecting stories or anything like that, where characters overlapped. The art is really good, and they were just really heartwarming. I really, really enjoyed this all the way through. And the funny thing is, every single character in every single one of these stories was more compelling and more interesting than the characters from this entire volume. So that says something. I'm going to see if I can find you some art that isn't... Yeah, there's some characters. I just really, really enjoyed this one, and I'm glad that I bought it because this one was really, really well done. And the last of the 4 yaoi titles that I bought the other day from Goodwill, this is Restart, and this is by Shoko Hidaka. This is the story about a modeling agency. These two are both models. He's a bit older than this guy. This guy's kind of idolized this man here for a while, and of course he's in love with him. And it's the story of kind of it starts after they've hooked up in a drunken kind of night of passion. This guy is our main character, who we kind of follow through his eyes. I think at one point there is a story that follows him and his perspective as well. And then it kind of goes into the past a bit of like how he came to know of him, how he became a model, and all these things. So there's quite a few stories that jump around timeline-wise about these two, but then there's also some stories about some other models in the agency and their relationships with other people, which I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed this whole thing. This one's the thickest of all 4 of the titles, and I really enjoyed it. The art, you can see there's like a chapter page. It's really, really pretty. All of the characters are really cute. This is one of the side stories. I just really like the faces and everything. The stories were great. They felt realistic and relatable character-wise. It was really cute. I enjoyed it. Next, I read Volume 3 of My Boy. This is about a woman, I believe she's in her early 30s, who meets this young boy. He's 12, and his family situation is clearly not great, and she kind of takes it upon herself to involve herself in his life by coaching him with soccer in the evenings, but she kind of goes a step farther and starts like taking him out places and buying him food and things like that, and kind of overstepping. And this volume really is like stuff kind of coming to a head with what she's been doing, and her kind of coming to terms with the fact that maybe what she's doing is not appropriate for this random kid that she's just met and doesn't know anything about, never met his family, or parents or anything like that. So it's kind of, everybody is kind of getting involved now. And yeah, it was a very good volume. I can't wait for the next one because it kind of left on a cliffhanger. So yeah. Next, I read 1 Week Friends by Matcha Hazuki. This is partially a 4-koma manga, and it's basically about this character here. She loses her memory every week of friends, so she doesn't want to make any friends, and then this boy is the main character, and he wants to be her friend. So every week he has to kind of reintroduce himself, kind of thing, and they're trying to figure out where her amnesia is coming from, what the point of it is, and how he can kind of maintain friendship with her when she forgets him every week. And it's kind of a comedy. The art is really cute, as you can see. It's a lot of 4-koma, but it actually does have a lot of non-4-koma pages too. So I would say, honestly, if you're not used to 4-koma manga, this might be a good introduction to it, because it really does kind of split the 4-koma and the non-4-koma paneling pretty decently. So it'd be a nice way to kind of ease yourself into that type of manga. But it's cute. I watched the anime for it when it came out a while ago and enjoyed it. I think the anime was more enjoyable than the manga just because of the format of it, and I think the anime with the pastel kind of colors and everything is really wonderful, whereas this is a little bit slower because it's a manga. But I did enjoy it, and maybe in the future I'll pick up some more volumes of it. And then I read volumes 8, 9, and 10 of Bungo Stray Dogs. This is a series I really love. It's a comedy action, but it's like a dark comedy, because it's about a detective agency, and all the detectives have special powers. It's quite violent. It is quite dark, but at the same time manages to keep it really lighthearted, really funny. The characters are all likable, whether they're the villains or the main characters. Yeah, it's just the color pages in the front are always really, really nice. And the art, I really love the style of it. The characters, I love all of them. I really, really enjoy the fight scenes, are really well done. This is a series I really, really enjoy. I think volume 11 is either just coming out or just came out. But yeah, it's a really good title. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Yeah, and so that's basically what I read for the first week of April. And this coming week, Saturday, I believe, is Bizarre Individuals 24-hour readathon. So I will probably have quite a few books next week to talk about. But yeah, this was Lohali's 30 for 30 manga tag/challenge. So yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.